Black people, one of the largest ethnic groups in the world, has its rich history demonstrated even in the sacred scriptures. Perhaps like me you are also surprised by this information, but the Bible talks about the origins of the African people, including their melanic kings and queens. In this video you will discover interesting facts about the biblical ancestors of Black and African people. But first, let me ask you something. 5 seconds. Take a look if you are already subscribed to the channel, and if you have turned on the notification bell, as we have several other videos of fascinating stories about characters from the Bible. According to the Holy Bible, all current people are descendants of Shem, Ham, and Japheth, the three sons of Noah, who survived the flood. Therefore, this also applies to Black people and other dark-skinned ethnic groups whose lineage originates from one of Noah's sons. In contemporary times, the Semites are Jews and Arabs, all descendants of Shem, son of Noah, and the European and Asian peoples. The term Carmite or Limit originally referred to people descended from Can. According to the Bible, after the flood, Noah and his three sons were in charge of continuing the lineage of Adam and his descendants. Noah's second son, Ham, is recognized as the ancestor of African and Black people. In the Holy Bible, his name is always associated with Africa. In fact, it is interesting to note that in antiquity, rabbinic traditions, ancient histories of the Jewish people and other traditions have always recognized him as the ancestor of the African people. Furthermore, all interpretations of the sons of Ham point to African countries and regions and African peoples. The name Ham itself, whether in Hebrew, Aramaic, and other ancient languages, means burnt or dark in reference to the skin tone of his descendant. The book of Genesis in its chapter 10 between verses 6 and 14 provides more information about the lineage of Ham, also known as the Hamite people. The text presents Cush, son of Ham, father of several African nations, and his brother Mizraim, father of the ancient Egyptians. It is important to mention that Syrian Jews, Arabs, and other people refer to Egypt as descendants of Mizraim, other sons of Kenar, put in Canaan. Canaan is the father of the Canaanites, who are not Africans. It is essential to understand that Canaan represents a distinct region and people. The children of Cush include Havilah, the native peoples of ancient Babylon, and the Sumerian. In addition, they are people from the northern region such as the Anameys, Leobites, Nachuetas, Patricites, and Kasuitite. Peoples including the people of Ethiopia, and Nubia all descend from Cush. These are the main nations and peoples descended from Cush, the first son of Ham. They are not limited to Cush and Nubia, including the kingdom of Cush, the kingdom of Nubia, and the ancient Sumerians. The rebellious son is considered the progenitor of the people of Samaria. The people of South India, including the natives of the region, are also believed to be descendants of Cush, as well as many other Africans. When we talk about Cush, it is often associated with Ethiopia, Sudan, and Africa. In the Bible, and its literal meaning is Ethiopia or black. Mizraim in turn is considered the ancestor of the ancient Egyptians and many peoples of North Africa, including the dark-skinned Berbers and Tuareg. In Psalm 78 verse 51 it is mentioned that God smote all the firstborn in Egypt, the firstfruits of youth, in the tents of Ham. As for the famous curse of Campai of Canaan, many people in ancient times misinterpreted the curse of Ham or Canaan described in the book of Genesis 9:20-28. But there is more than one interpretation of this text. It is important to emphasize that the Black people were not cursed, but rather Canaan, the father of the Canaanites who inhabited the Middle East. He was the one who received Noah's curse, not the African people. It is crucial to clarify that interpreting the biblical text as if the African people had been cursed is a serious error and false interpretation. The curse fell on Canaan, the ancestor of the Canaanite people. We know that he is the ancestor of all African and South Indian peoples, and he lived a very long life because he was born before the flood. It is presumed that Ham also lived for around 600 years or even more. Although the biblical texts do not precisely mention his age, it is not known for sure where Ham's tomb is located, but according to some theories it could be in the Ethiopian region or even in Nubia. Some scholars claim that he is buried in Mesopotamia in the land of the Sumerians. However, most agree that Ham's tomb is in Africa, but precisely in Sudan or Ethiopia. Some even suggest that he may be buried in Egypt. It is quite intriguing and interesting, since Egypt is a country full of mysteries where we constantly hear about discoveries of people buried 3,000 or 4,000 years ago. The Book of Jubilees gives us more information about Ham's old age and events involving Noah's family and the three lines, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. This ancient Jewish manuscript, believed to be true, reports that Ham completely disapproved of his youngest son Canaan's decision to dwell in the land of Shem that is now known as Israel. Ham did not agree with his son Canaan's attitude of taking those lands for himself. The Book of Jubilees informs us that Cush and Mizraim, brothers of Canaan, also disapproved of Canaan's decision to live in the land of Shem, which is the region that today corresponds to Israel. They went to Canaan and ordered him to leave that land because they believed that the land's African lands were reserved for Ham's descendants. However, Canaan disobeyed and continued to inhabit that earth, completely ignoring the will of his father and his brother. The Book of Jubilees reports that Ham was the founder of the first city and the first province after the flood. And this is the story of the origin of black people. Thank you to everyone who has watched so far. Leave your like. It is very important for YouTube, and share the video so that other people can understand the origins of black people.